Magandang araw na naman sa inyo mga viewers ko. Ito na naman, isa na naman trivia. Tungkol po ito sa bloodline ng McLean Hats. Okay. Origin of the McLean Hats and Blue Page Hats by Harry Parr, November 1977. Ito po siya. Interest in the breeding of game fowl. Strains has always run high even though the knowledge thereof seldom has any practical application. I have been asked many times to search for the breeding of the McLean Hats and their offshoot, the Blue Page family. This I have done briefly in letters and countless times orally. It is amazing how twisted these accounts become. So, since this subject appears still to hold the interest of many, I have decided, to write down the facts for one and all. Although Ted McLean has been out of the chicken business since December of 1954, at which time he gave me all of his fowl, he is still very much with us. I mention this only because I have seen too many stories come out when it's too late for the facts to be verified by the principal involved. Further, the following is being written with my notes and breeding records before me, and this paper will be limited to first-hand information. Finally, lest anyone think there is an ulterior motive involved, my chicken are my hobby. I keep only enough for my purposes and have never, nor do I ever, contemplate selling them. In the early 30s, Mr. Eslin Hatch and Mr. Ted McLean were on the floor of the stock exchange. That Mr. Hatch gave Ted McLean fowl in testimony enough of their friendship. As it is well known, Mr. Hatch did not let many go at the time. Mr. Hatch's fowl consisted of 4 basic bloodlines. These were the Kearney fowl, made up of 2 strains. Mike Kearney, brought from Ireland, namely the BC, breasted, light-edged, white-hackle. 2. The brown-breasted red, plus number 3, the Herman Duryea fowl, commonly called the Boston Roundhead, which Kearney added when he worked for Mr. Duryea. With this bloodline, Mr. Hatch incorporated number 4, the Green-Leg Thompson from Jim Thompson fowl. I might say here that from then till now, the strain made up of those 4 bloodlines are what I call the straight stuff. In those days, virtually all the fighting in the Northeast was done in each and a quarter heavy, slow hills, which is not surprising considering the cocker's prime requisite was gameness. In Palo, the toughness and power were high priorities, and the Hatch fowl had all this in abundance. While they surely did not compile a great winning record, they were admired by many for these attributes. Fortunately, Ted McLean kept this set of priorities, or the straight stuff would have long since gone by the boards. For in addition to these attributes, the McLean Hats are poor cutters, low-headed dam fighters that usually take 2 or 3 shots before unleashing one of their patented haymakers. Obviously, as the hill gods fostered their ability to win legend, so they are now useless if fought pure. Their values then is only an ingredient to produce battlecocks. Ted McLean bought Gamecock Farm in Maryland and built one of the best all-around chicken plants I have ever seen. He gave me a trio of his Hatch fowl in 1948, and shortly thereafter I bought a farm within a short distance from his. I suppose I was a Gamecock Farm a couple of times a week, and every day during the fighting season, because we fought a heavy schedule and chicken were almost always in the cock house for conditioning. At least one experimental cross was tried each year and many produced superior battle cocks. But as soon as one quit, all chickens containing that lot came under the axe. I saw an awful lot of chicken killed, and when he retired from the game in 1954, only the straight stuff remained. All of these fowl were given to me. Okay, the blue face hats, the blue face. In the spring of 1949, Ted McLean has two beautifully bred straight stags, one of which he wanted to breed. They were poor brothers, well-made, green-legged, weigh about 4'10", and you really could not have told them apart except one was a roundhead. His wing clip was 48.90, the square comb is 48.96. Ted decided to heal them up and fight them, which we did in his pit in the barn. The square comb proved to be a better fighter and cutter, and when he blinded the roundhead, Ted said he had seen enough and to cut the head off the roundhead. Well, I had handled the roundhead, and when he was in my hands, you could tell all he wanted to do was get at the other stag. After being pitted, he would search, and as soon as contact was made, explode. So I said I would take him home and see what I could do. After a couple of weeks, he regained the sight of one eye and was soon back in good health. I bred this stag 2 years, and one day Ted asked if I would mind sending him to Land Gilmore. Land wanted a cock at that time. Ted did not have a really good ones to spare. I shipped the cock, and later than Land and Pete Pross bred him to a hen that Ted had previously gave to Pete. This hen was 47.65 the wimband by green leg cock number 2 to the straight stop. Out of hen number 81, which was a Morgan White Hackett from Henny Patricius, you see none of the straight stop of the hen side ever go out. Okay, ito na po ang kwento ng McLean Hats at saka po yung blue face. Ito po ay talagang sila po ang nag-develop talaga nito, itong mga hats na to. Yung mga hats natin ngayon na magagaling, inano na ho to, kumbaga in-improvise na ng mga ibang breeder natin na this year, yung ating mga panahon ngayon. Pero yung araw ho, talaga sila ho talagang nanaliksik niya kung paano nila pagagalingin yung mga hats na ngayon na tayo ang nasa atin na ngayon ng mga magagaling na hats. Salamat tayo sa mga breeder na to. Kung hindi sa mga to, hindi tayo magkakaroon ng magagaling na hats. Kung hindi sa mga veteranong breeder na yan. Yun lang po ang masasabi ko dyan. O sige po, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Ito na naman po ako, papaalam na naman ako sa inyo. O paalala ko uli sa inyo. Pakisubscribe naman, wala man humbayad yun. Like and comment. O, maraming salamat to. Thanks for watching.